Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Outside the Ropes. I'm your host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew Moore. I hope you're all doing very well out there, unlike myself. And that's the reason why we haven't had a podcast in the last few days. But we're back. We're here. We're back for another podcast. We've got loads to talk about on this week's edition of Outside the Ropes. But first of all, before we go any further, I want to explain the reason why, if you haven't saw on our Twitter account or Facebook account, why there was no show last week and there was no Roadblocks pre-show that was originally planned to do. I'm sure you all probably saw on Twitter that I received a very serious injury in the last sort of few days. I sent out a tweet of the injury that I sustained to my hand. And a lot of you guys out there responded to it with lovely messages and get well messages from you listeners of the show. We were due to do a show on Saturday night past, a WWE Roadblock pre-show with myself and Tony, which Tony was actually going to be there. But unfortunately it didn't happen because I was in hospital having surgery. Now, I'm sure you don't want to know the gory details, but I sustained a serious hand injury where I had to go under the surgeon's knife last Saturday. Everything was a success, as you probably don't know now, as I'm sitting here, and I'm back. But I'm sitting here with a, should we say, a plastic arm hand thing at the minute here. But I'm here, I still have a voice, I can still talk, the show is still going. And again, guys, I would like to thank you for all your messages and get well messages over the last few days via our website and emails. A couple of tweets, but a lot of you were sending us emails, a few private mails as well on Twitter, asking how the hand is. We'll just answer your questions. The hand's doing fine, I'm on the mend, and I'm back. So enough about me, rambling on about myself. I know, I'm being boring, but I'm here with a lot of talk about tonight, guys. So welcome back to Outside the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Moore. Hope you're all doing great out there. Let's get straight into it. But before we talk about any of wrestling that's been going on over the last few days, I just want to give a shout out to the friends and partners of this podcast. If you're historians of professional wrestling, just like myself and most people who listen to this show, Wrestling's Past is your location. Don't forget to check out their website. They've just recently put up new blogs regarding the past history of WrestleMania, which is wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter at Wrestling'sPast for all your history of wrestling needs. So if you're a historian of wrestling like me and you like to go back and check out all the old archive photographs and stories, etc., Wrestling's Past is the location. Okay, let's get straight into what happened this past Saturday night at WWE Roadblock on the WWE Network. Did you manage to catch the show? I managed to catch the show, well, parts of the show while in hospital, and then I watched the majority of it the next day on my mobile phone, which is the benefits of having the WWE Network, which means you can watch it anywhere you want. But I saw the Roadblocks show special from Canada. I thought it was a pretty decent show. Some good matches on the card. The Divas title match was a great match between Natalya and Charlotte. We had Sami Zayn on the show, which was great to see. Sami Zayn's now officially on the main roster. Chicago, he appeared on the main roster last week. From Chicago, which was great to see. It was another great show last week on Raw. But yeah, Roadblock, Sami Zayn was there. But the main event was the WWE World Heavyweight title match between Dean Ambrose and Triple H, which was a hard-hitting battle. We did hear the stories that Dean Ambrose was expected to win the title in a twist to change the card up a little bit for WrestleMania. That was not the case. Triple H retained the title. But again, no surprise. So the card is officially set for the main event. It is going to be Roman Reigns versus Triple H in about 2 weeks' time at WrestleMania. So there you go. But I mean, Roadblock itself was a great show. Some great matches. The crowd was great. Spoke to Tony about it actually. He made a few valid points. It kind of reminded you of like an old WWF pay-per-view special. For example, the likes of maybe Backlash 99, that type of size of arena and the entranceway and stuff like that. It had like an old school feel to it, which was quite good to see. I like that old school type feel. Sometimes you get a little bit fed up with that Giants Titantron thing. I think you should save them for the likes of WrestleMania and stuff like that and big events. But But no, Roadblock was a good show, guys. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We obviously got your comments on it. He did send us in some of your views via Twitter and also by email. So yeah, it was great. It was a pretty good show. Um, can't complain one tiny bit. But on the other news in the world of wrestling over the last few days, since Roadblock, Monday Night Raw, which was a reasonably okay show up until the end, where we saw the return of Roman Reigns and kicking Triple H's ass and giving Triple H a few staples in his head, as you probably saw the videos on the YouTube channel, where Triple H has had a few staples in his head. But Raw itself was an okay show. We had a serious injury coming out of Raw this week. Neville has shattered his ankle in a match with Chris Jericho. There is a video out there where you can see where he has actually, obviously you watch it on the show itself at the time it happened, but there's a video out there, a closer look at it, where you see Neville where he's over on his ankle. And news coming out of the WWE in the last 24 hours is that Neville will be out of action for up to 3 months, which is disappointing because Neville was starting to get a bit of a push on Raw, and now he is out for 3 months, which means he'll miss WrestleMania. He's added to the injury list, the long list of injuries. But it's so sad to see, because it was would have expected to see Neville appearing at WrestleMania and doing some type of thing, because obviously he's getting a bit of a push at the minute, which is good to see. But we here at the show obviously wish Neville a speedy recovery and see him back into the ring as soon as possible. But Raw, the main thing for the Raw for the night itself was this big thing at the end of the night where it was supposed to be Shane McMahon confronting The Undertaker, which the segment again doesn't make any sense in my eyes. Why is Undertaker all of a sudden wanting to take out Shane McMahon? It doesn't make any sense for me. I watched it on Monday night with Tony. I returned from hospital on Monday and I watched the show, and we sort of looked at each other and went, "What? But why? What's the point of the match?" It's 2 weeks to WrestleMania. Hopefully they explain more to it. It got a bit of a fisticuffs going on between Shane and The Undertaker, were resulting in Shane taking a choke slam from The Undertaker. What are they going to do over the next 2 weeks? Only time will tell. Other highlights from Raw this week, we saw the return of Mick Foley, which was sort of passing the hardcore torch to Dean Ambrose, which was an interesting segment backstage. Dean Ambrose was in the ring with a crowbar confronting Brock Lesnar for their match coming up at WrestleMania. But there was a lot of skit backstage where Mick Foley came in to confront Dean Ambrose and told him to throw the crowbar away, and presented him with a little gift in a box with a bow wrapped up, and inside was the person who we haven't saw on WWE television for a while, and that was Barbie. So yeah, he's sort of passing the hardcore torch, should they say, from one hardcore legend to a guy who is well renowned for his hardcore matches in the likes of CZW, etc. before he got to the WWE. So hopefully they put on a great performance, which they probably will do. There's a lot of talk that this match could possibly push the PG limit boundaries to the max, with Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. But other matches that come out of Raw this week, we hear the New Day are going to be facing the League of Nations, which is no surprise. We saw the little skits coming out. The Usos are going to be fighting the Dudley Boys. But there's a lot of other stories building around at the moment for the likes of the Intercontinental title. Kalisto's been challenged for his US title against Ryback. So more matches will be added to the card in the next coming weeks, leading into the biggest event of the year, WrestleMania, in a few weeks' time, which is hoping they use the next 2 weeks and really push it. I mean, but they have been saying that Raw is going to be a little more edgier content leading into WrestleMania. In somewhat ways it was. I mean, we had a brawl at the end where Roman Reigns returned at the end of Raw and beat up Triple H. Where Triple H obviously had to get stitches in his head and stuff like that. We even had the referee getting injured, where the referee had to get his knee stitched as well. So it's getting a little bit more interesting, but there is some segments there they need to sort of crank up the volume and make it a bit more interesting coming up in the weeks leading into WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, there's a lot of speculation going around that this year's WrestleMania could be the last WrestleMania for two superstars. Now, we talked about Mark Henry a few weeks ago being one of those guys, but apparently, coming out in the last sort of 48 to 72 hours around the internet wrestling community, the story has broke out that this could possibly be Kane's last WrestleMania, and Kane is contemplating retirement and possibly looking at a career in politics, which is quite interesting. So, yeah, Kane could be appearing at WrestleMania this year for the last time, maybe in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Don't know. But it's interesting to see that Kane could be maybe calling it a day. You haven't seen him as much on TV, but there you have it. Other news coming out of WWE this week as well. You all know that Wade Barrett handed his notice in a few weeks ago. We talked about that on the podcast. But now there's rumours going around that there's another top star handed in his notice. There was rumours going around that it was going to be Dolph Ziggler, but we do know that we are understanding that Dolph Ziggler has re-signed a new contract and he will remain with the company for another 3 years, which is good to see, obviously. But he had an interesting match on Raw with Triple H as well on past Monday night, so maybe this is, Dolph Ziggler's going to get a bit of a push, which I hope to see. But there's a bit of injury. Well, sort of, should we say this is injury news? I found this out actually out 2 days ago. You all know a roadblock Brock Lesnar was supposed to fight Bray Wyatt. It didn't happen. And we found out the reason why it didn't happen. Because we hear the injury news coming out of the Wyatt family is apparently Bray Wyatt is actually currently working hurt. We hear that the injuries are a back injury, a pectoral injury, and what Bray Wyatt has been kept off from doing actual in-ring stuff for the coming weeks, and there's a possibility he may not compete at WrestleMania this year due to these injuries. Now, people were talking about it during Roadblock, saying, he's not under, he's politicking backstage, and but we hear that Bray Wyatt's back is in pretty bad condition. So recent injury news is coming out of WWE is that Bray Wyatt could possibly be taking some time off television in the next few weeks, which is sad to see because the Wyatt family, are good. And I personally think that the Wyatt family should be getting more of a push. I mean, there's only been one person in the entire family who's actually held a title, and that's Luke Harper, which is disappointing, really, to be honest. We talked about this a few weeks ago, guys, on the podcast regarding the Arnold Schwarzenegger Sports Festival. Now, I know you all probably saw the photographs and videos and stuff like that there. Now, we did talk about this a few weeks ago, and I'm sure you're probably sick and tired of hearing about this, but as you all know, Kurt Angle made an appearance there to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. We all know Triple H was going to be there. We know that Triple H, well, there was speculation that him and Triple H were going to have a meeting of some sort. But they did meet there. They did have a chat in private, away from everyone. And this is obviously the story which everybody's been talking about. Is Kurt Angle going to appear in WWE at WrestleMania this year? Even during Raw Monday night, we sent out a photograph asking you fans if you wanted to see Kurt Angle at the show, retweet the picture. A lot of you did. A lot of you responded to it. Was he going to turn up in his hometown of Pittsburgh on Monday night? He didn't. We knew this was going to happen once we heard that Kurt Angle was going to be inducted into the that Sports Hall of Fame. And you obviously with Triple H being there, being a good friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But they did have a meeting. But whether it's to be future business down the road, we don't know. We all know Kurt Angle has announced that he is taking a year away from wrestling. But is it going to happen? Is Kurt Angle going to be appearing on WWE television very, very soon? If you would like to see it, let us know. I would like to see him back in, maybe doing like a general manager role, or maybe a management role, or some type of role. Maybe help out at NXT or something. I don't know. But there you have it. Hall of Fame news. You all heard an announcement made this past Monday night, or even before Monday Night Raw, that the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame this year is going to be the one and only Jacqueline. That's right. You all remember her from back in the Attitude Era, even back in the days before she got the WWF or WWE, like WCW, and obviously the USWA, multiple time champion there before she got to the WWE. In my opinion, one of the toughest women to ever get into the ring. She even fought men. She was a hardcore champion. She was the women's champion. So yeah, it's good to see her finally get into where she belongs, and that's the Hall of Fame in her home state of Texas as well. So Jacqueline's getting into the Hall of Fame this year, which is great to see. with a long list of legends getting into it this year, the likes of the Freebirds, the Godfather, Sting, the Big Boss Man. It's great to see. She's getting into the Hall of Fame where she belongs, and I'm really glad to see it because she's one of the ones that really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because she's probably one of the best female wrestlers that's ever stepped foot in a WWF ring or WWE ring, because she's a pretty damn good wrestler in my opinion. So there you go. We announced this on our website about a week or so ago, outsidetheropesradio.com, about a possible Hall of Fame stroke restaurant building being built in Florida, which we're going to talk about Florida in just a wee second because we've got an announcement regarding WrestleMania next year. But yeah, apparently they have certain plans where an old NBA restaurant. They were planning on taking it over and turning it into a physical Hall of Fame stroke restaurant, like an old WWF New York type style thing. But apparently that's all fell through now, which is disappointing because everybody wants to see a physical Hall of Fame. We all know the story that Shane McMahon tried to get a physical Hall of Fame built back in the day before he left the company in 2009. But again, it fell through as well. But I'd like to hear what you fans think. If WWE were to build a physical Hall of Fame, where would it be? Where should it be? I would love to see a physical Hall of Fame built where you can go and see like old, stuff, like, find out more about the wrestlers and about their Hall of Fame inductions, and maybe go and see, the likes of Ric Flair. You could go and see old robes and boots and, all different things, memorabilia and stuff like that from throughout the years. But apparently, so far, what we hear is that has now fell through, and WWE are now looking for somewhere else apparently to try and get this to happen. It's more Triple H than that wants to do, because you all know Triple H is a big historian of wrestling. So I would love to see it happen sooner than later. Long overdue, in my opinion. But speaking of Florida, it has been officially announced that next year's WrestleMania will take place once again in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Now, the last time WrestleMania was held in the Citrus Bowl was 2008 WrestleMania 24. Myself personally, I was in attendance. That was my last WrestleMania I ever attended. So I will definitely be there next year because WrestleMania in Florida was awesome. Bit of a different looking Citrus Bowl, as people don't know. It had a bit of work done to it back in 2014, but it looks similar to what it did beforehand. But it is confirmed that next year's WrestleMania will be in the renovated, updated Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to start making plans very, very soon to take myself and my two wrestling crazy children to Florida next year for WrestleMania. Most would be 33. Unbelievable, can't believe it's still 33, but there you go. But yeah, it's going to be good. The big announcement, it's all been made, and it's definitely going to happen next year. I know we keep going back to WrestleMania, but all these news have been coming out in recent time. People here in the UK have been talking, when are they ever going to bring back SummerSlam to the UK, or even bring WrestleMania to the UK? It's come out recently. The Mayor of London has actually stated that he would love to be part of bringing WrestleMania to London soon. Now, you all know that the perfect location for WrestleMania in London would be Wembley Stadium. As you all know, it's been done up since the old Wembley Stadium. It now holds a capacity before floor seating of over 90,000 people. So the Mayor of London's very keen to try and maybe get something going about maybe bringing WrestleMania to London. So UK fans, that would be awesome. Everybody wants to see WrestleMania or SummerSlam maybe come back. As you all know, SummerSlam was at the old Wembley Stadium back in 1992. But there you go, I would love to see it. Again, more WrestleMania news. Guys, I'm only going off a script here, which I've been handed by the producers of this show. But yeah, more WrestleMania news regarding HBK, Mick Foley, Steve Austin, and The Rock. Mick Foley, as you all know, appeared on Raw. He would be doing some type of thing at WrestleMania, maybe a backstage skit or something, I don't know. Shawn Michaels is rumoured to be the referee in the Roman Reigns Triple H match. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock still haven't got any type of role at WrestleMania, but all we know is that they're going to be there in 2 weeks at WrestleMania. What's their role going to be? I don't know. We still don't know. Love to find out what's going on, but there you go. Again, we're just going to keep an eye on it and see how it goes over the next few weeks. Now it's time for the segment of the show that everybody loves. I know it's a bit short and sweet this week, guys. I only have a few notes here to talk about tonight, so I do apologise. I'm still a bit groggy from surgery last past weekend. I'm on medication, so I'm a bit sort of groggy. If I do sound a bit groggy, I do apologise. But it's now time for the segment of the show that we all love. And we had a little quick brief meeting today to pick someone who this could be this week. It's now time for the Outside the Ropes Jackass of the Week segment. I have missed that donkey. I was dreaming about that donkey sound whenever I was under the surgeon's knife. I'm only kidding. After a brief chat at today's production meeting before the show, it has been announced that the Outside the Ropes Jackass of the Week for this week is... Can I get a drum roll, please, Mr. Producer? The Outside the Ropes Jackass of the Week for this week is... WWE referee Charles Robinson. Now, the reason why he is Jackass of the Week, if you have saw the video where Neville gets injured, the referee sort of makes a few stupid things going on. You can see Jericho's frustration in the match where Jericho's sort of trying to scream to Charles Robinson that he's injured. He even told he was going to pin him at the end of the match. But Charles Robinson, in our eyes, get on like a complete and total jackass. So the Jackass of the Week for this week is WWE referee Charles Robinson, aka Little Nitch. I know, it's not a very good decision, but sure. I was outvoted. I picked someone else, but obviously they didn't pick that one, but sure, you go. Guys, announcement for you as well. Over the next couple of weeks leading to WrestleMania, we want to hear your favourite WrestleMania moments. The big show's coming up in 2 weeks. We want to know all your favourite WrestleMania moments, your favourite WrestleMania match. We'll be doing a little thing, voting poll and stuff like that on our website, which is outsidetheropesradio.com. Stay tuned to social media feeds as well. Also, the night of WrestleMania 32, Outside the Ropes on our Facebook, that's right, on our Facebook, we'll be doing a official live stream on Facebook of the reactions of myself and Tony and whoever else is with us watching the pay-per-view. That's right, we'll be streaming live on Facebook. I know a lot of you will be watching WrestleMania, but if you see us on Facebook, drop a wee comment and say hello and watch our reactions as the pay-per-view. We'll actually be starting the stream at the start of the pre-show. We'll be streaming live on Facebook, so you can pop in and leave a few comments and etc. etc. So yeah, it's been confirmed that on the night of WrestleMania 32, we will be streaming live on our Facebook for live reactions, and we'll be chatting to you guys live on Facebook throughout the event. So if you're on Facebook and you see us live on the stream, stick your head in, say hello, leave a comment, and we'll give you a shout out and stuff, and we'll have a chat with you guys as much as we can. So it's going to be interesting. The live reactions of WrestleMania. It's going to be fun, trust me. I'll be sporting my WrestleMania 32 t-shirt, which I ordered the other day, which should be here by the end of the week. So stay tuned. The night of WrestleMania, our live stream. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun to talk to you guys live as it happens on the night of WrestleMania. So there you go. Guys, I am going to hit the road here in just a few short moments. I do apologise again if I did sound a bit groggy in this episode, because I am still feeling a bit drained after what happened this past week. Hope you're all doing well out there, as I always say. Thanks very much for hitting the subscribe button on iTunes. Obviously listening to us here on YouTube, Facebook and all other sources. A few shout outs before I hit the road. Don't forget to give our good friends at British Wrestling Radio a bit of a support and shout out. They're on our Facebook and you can search them on Google for their website, and also their weekly live shows every Friday night from Dino, Nixie and all the gang of British Wrestling Radio. I also want to give a shout out to our good friends at Pro Wrestling Ulster, Wrestling.ie, Over the Top Wrestling, Main Stage Wrestling, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, and also I can't remember who was going to say there now. My head was on blank on a live recording of a podcast. Trying to remember who's going to say there. I can't even remember now. I do apologise. Yes, I forgot the other company I was going to give a shout out to, but I want to give a shout out to our friends once again. Wrestling's Past, for all your history of professional wrestling needs. Wrestling's Past is the location, guys. Don't forget to check them out as well. I'm going to get out of here and go and get some rest and try and recuperate and try to sound a wee bit better for next week's episode of Outside the Ropes. Guys, once again, thank you for supporting the podcast. I do thank you for all your continued support. Thank you once again for all your kind messages over the last few days towards my recovery. So until next Wednesday, enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget to watch NXT tonight as well. And until next Wednesday, same time, same place, I'm Matthew Mee, your host, and I will see you all for another edition of Outside the Ropes.